We're live. It's 12:30 on Friday the 6th of October, and this is the very first CIH Futures Human Library station with me, Evie Copland. I live and work in Dumfries in South West Scotland, and I bloody love what I do. You've caught me today, let's see if I go up round. You've caught me today having to stop because I was late as usual. So thank God we're in 2017 and I can do this from anywhere. So welcome to Instagram Live, lovely to have you. So today the situation is this: there's 15 minutes of me telling my story and there is 15 minutes of questions. Hello Gabby, hello. I'm maybe not the best first person because I'll be very excited, and when things start to come in, if you have got anything to ask, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and if I miss them I'll catch up when we get back to the next 15 minutes. So the time has started, I better go. Welcome. I work for an organisation called Dumfries and Galloway Housing Partnership. It was a stock transfer back in 2003, and I had a wonderful opportunity after graduating as a journalism student back in 2011 to join this wonderful place as a copywriter, to fill their website with weird, wonderful and really interesting stuff that was going on. However, what has happened as a result of that is I have had the most amazing roll of opportunities, thanks to people who believe in me and people who want to give me a chance and people who think that we're doing some good stuff. So my journey in social housing started way back in 1990. My mum and dad, when my dad was released from the army, moved into a council house in Dumfries, and social housing has played a really integral part of my life since day one. And as a fiercely passionate Doonhamer and someone who loves Dumfries and this area, doing good for people who live here really matters to me. God, I look ridiculous with these sunglasses on, but I'm incredibly tired. So doing good really mattered to me, and working here fulfills everything that matters to me. Doing good, making sure people have got a great place to call home, and living in a place that I just adore. So I have got a little note, so I'll flick back 2 seconds. So, as I said, my mum and dad moved into this council house in a little suburb out of Dumfries, and God, about 30 years ago, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it. Is Scotland always sunny? It doesn't look particularly sunny, John. It's a bit miserable actually. So, they moved into their council house and we adored it. To be honest, we didn't have an awful lot at all. The highlight of my life it was a decant to a really small house about 5 minutes walk away when I would be 9 or 10, and my brothers and I shared a bedroom for the first time, and it was like being on the most immense adventure. We'd never moved, we'd hardly been on a holiday outside of the UK, and it was mad. We'd never packed before, and I think I still to this day probably hold grudges that things went missing that I had when I left and didn't have when I came back. So I can totally understand the turmoil that comes with being put out of your house, even for good stuff to happen, which was what happened to us. We had a full renovation, double glazing was put in, central heating for the very first time, and that was in the early 2000s. So I knew firsthand the great work that people working in social housing did, and despite it not being the first choice that I was personally interested in, as soon as I got here it was quite clear that this was the place for me to be. So I found this opportunity to come and work here, and it was just amazing. I found these incredible people who were so passionate about doing great things for others. Hi Ellie! Hello! And it just seemed like this was the natural place to be, and I've been very lucky since that I've got Callie. I studied journalism, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go and save the world, but why save the world when you can change it? And that was really where my love of where I am now absolutely stemmed from. I'm really lucky. I have a wonderful director, Jane Moore. You're amazing. You never listen to anyone who tells you, but you are, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. But if you have a great leader in your life, it makes life so much easier. Yeah, you're right. Social housing is way better. So this, I think, is just a great opportunity for me to say thank you to all the people who made life great for me back in the day, but also for me to give an opportunity to say, well look, this is what we do too. And by choosing social housing, you've already chosen to make a difference, and that makes you pretty amazing, as far as I think. So, I've never been a frontline officer. I've no intention of becoming a frontline officer, but doing the right thing rather than what's right is really, really very important to me. And I think when you're in an environment like we are, sometimes the right thing and what's procedurally right can be very different sometimes, but you know, you have to take situations as they come and take people as they come and do what's right for you or the person you're dealing with at the time. And the situations that we come into on a daily basis just are some of the most intense and crazy and rewarding and fulfilling that anybody could have for a day at work, and just be, you know, pat yourself on the back now and again because you've got a really, really hard job, and when you do a great job, you know, people do appreciate it even when they don't say so. So I think the important thing for me is, even if you're not a frontline officer, there is no reason that you can't be passionate, you can't be loyal to the organisation or the people that you work with. For me personally, I would love to run an organisation one day. I would love to be part of a team who are doing great things for people who live here. That's where my passion truly lies, is doing great things for people who live in Dumfries and Galloway. But there's no reason to say if you're happy somewhere. You know, there is a lot of people now who it's quite trendy and it's quite advantageous sometimes to go and work in a few places or try something else or go and do something else. But the hard thing about that is sometimes it's not always what suits, and I think you have to do what absolutely suits you, whether that is staying in the same place or going and trying on different roles. Whatever suits you as a leader or a potential leader, do what's right. So, some of you may know me from previous dalliances with Rising Stars, the CIH and Inside Housing competition, where I met some of the most fantastic individuals, young individuals certainly, in the sector. A big shout out to Alice and Tom and Chris, who helped me along a journey which was way outside of my comfort zone and opened so many doors for me. So I'm now a wearer of many hats. I sit on the board for Scotland for CIH, and I'm also the Scotland rep for CIH Futures, which is clearly why I'm doing this today. But what time are we on? Oh, there's a little bit of time. That's good. This opportunity to be part of a change, to be part of something positive, is one that everybody, regardless of whatever hat you wear, you've got responsibility and an opportunity to do great things where you are, where you work, and where you want to be. And given that, you know, there's lots of people already talking and joining, so that's fantastic. You've all made a commitment to do something different by being a little different today and joining in on this chat with me. So, what else have I got to say? Yeah. I think you all know that social housing is an incredibly, well, housing full stop actually, let's forget about social just for a minute. Housing full stop is an incredibly welcoming sector. People are more than happy to share ideas, opportunities, let you, oh Andy, I wonder why you can't see anything. Oh no. Well, even if your Instagram is freezing, this content will be available for another 24 hours after I've finished this first half hour, and it will also be available as member-only content on CIH's website. So if you're not a member, if this isn't reason enough to join, I don't know what is, really, frankly. So, some of the finest instances in my career, thanks John, that's good to hear that everything's working okay for you, that's good. So many hats, Callie, so many hats. We've got some great speakers lined up to do. Gabby, you're putting me off with your banter. We've got a few really, really interesting people signed up to do this. So we've got John Barnes from CIH, who who will be taking over for next week. And then we've got some other... Oh, thank you, John. There's a link. There is a link in the comments for joining. But this, I think, I'm absolutely stunned and astounded by the people who I've met and some of the places I've been even lately. You know, I kind of think sometimes my colleagues think that I'm house's it girl, if you like. That, you know, if there's an event on, I'm there, I'm part of it. There's no show without punch. And even recently, you know, I visited with some colleagues at Clanmill. Hello Clanmill, I know you're watching, in Belfast, and met some of the young aspiring leaders that they have there, and just the passion and the ideas and the drive that some of these individuals have, especially the ones who have really come up through the ranks. It's fantastic, and the fact that there is opportunity there for, you know, young people to do that is truly amazing, and the fact that there are people making the most of these opportunities is even better. So that's where I think CIH has a really crucial role to play for everybody, and helping them move forward and helping them, you know, find support, find the networks, find the people who are doing the same things as they are, having the same challenges, you know, all the problems, all the great things, and just have somewhere else, you know, to go. So I will answer your question, but we'll catch up in a couple of minutes time. Let me just check there's nothing else. We're going to do Periscope as well, but I think this is more than enough to be dealing with. Okay, right. So, how are we doing for time? Right, there's 4 minutes. But I think, why don't we just start with... Why don't we just start with some of the questions? How do I deal with challenges in my current role? My current role at the moment is I'm on secondment, so my substantive post is Communication and Innovation Officer at DGHP, which was a new job just last year. Challenges in that... probably a bit more different to now. At the moment I'm working on our digital strategy team, so the huge transformation process. I think for me the best thing I find to deal with challenges is take time out, go and work somewhere else, go and learn from someone who you think does it brilliantly, who inspires you, and just make sure you've got somebody to talk to. There are lots of people who are more than happy and have a wealth of experience that can help you get over the things that seem like massive problems. But once you start to break them down and find the right people, can turn into, you know, really manageable things and opportunities that you can get something else out of, or help yourself progress, or help your organisation achieve something. So that's how I would deal with that, I would say. How do you help motivate fellow frontline workers? I think it's twofold for me. Are doing fantastic stuff for people who live here, and we've got a really localised team, so people who they work with are their neighbours, their friends, their family, people they went to school with, all of that stuff that I think when your heart's attached to something, you do a much better job. So whether it is that it's the place you love, or the people you love, or a job you love, I think that time needs to be given to people to understand what it is that they're doing and the implications and the joy that they bring to people's life, but also the time to kind of recover from some of the situations they get in. But in terms of motivation, we're very lucky at DGHP. Who we have a leader who has come right through the ranks as well, who understands the day-to-day frustrations that people have, and I think appreciation goes a long way, and a thank you goes a long way. Okay, shout out for the innovation crew. Yes. Shout out for the leader of innovation, Steve is the king as far as I'm concerned. And Bromford, you Bromford people are amazing too. Andy Johnson and co, and you Michelle too, amazing. So what has been the most challenging obstacle when networking or trying to be in a network? Jem Stockdale, she'll help me with this one, but I think we have a real issue with some of the networking opportunities that are around just now, that they're male, they're pale, they're suited and booted, and they're not interested in having a conversation with some of us. I am a great lover of a stylish sneaker. In fact, today's option is Hamburg. I'm never going to be that person that fits into that that suited and booted role, that quiet conversation. I want people to be part of a conversation. I want things to be fun, and I want people that want to come back. And in situations where that doesn't exist, I think the hardest thing sometimes can be just spreading yourself that little bit out of your comfort zone and starting something different. So whether it be just starting a conversation with someone, or looking around to find someone you know, or even being a positive interrupter, you know, or a disruptor. If you hear a conversation and you think, well, actually I can add something to that, the hardest thing sometimes can be opening your mouth. And once you get over that, you know, you're cooking with gas. So, love this way of interacting. I adore this too. KTD_83, whoever you are, I'll look you up soon. What motivates me personally? Tenants. Tenants saying thank you. Tenants just being happy in a home. Everybody deserves that. Everybody deserves somewhere safe and somewhere comfortable to call home. And every time we achieve that, that motivates me. That gets me out of bed in the morning. And just now, especially when I'm working on this digital stuff that has far less people than I've ever been used to, knowing what a difference that'll make to the way that we deliver services is the thing that matters most to me. So, okay. Modern interaction on house. Yeah, preach! John Barnes, yes, preach! Yes. So, Clanmill, I've got a question now. I'm kind of hating this method of interaction too, because I feel like I'm not giving you enough eye contact. Right, let's try. Okay, Clanmill, how many roles have you had working in housing? First question, I've had 3 that were kind of really one. I started as a website assistant, I got communications added onto that. Then in a restructure, I became the comms and innovation officer, and now I've moved on to this one to work on digital. But they all kind of fall under the same umbrella, and the way that housing's kind of veering, it's trendy just now. So this sort of work is where a lot of people work. It's a very, very, very millennial type role, and fits me perfectly right now. Who's to say what happens next? Clan will have another question. Do you think other people know the varied opportunities that exist in the big world of housing? Totally. I think my friends, when I first said I was working in housing, you know, it's the usual thing. You must be an estate agent. They look at my Instagram or my Twitter or my Facebook, and it's like, where have you been now? What are you doing? Like, you've been to some great places, you've met some crazy people, and I love a selfie. If there's something exciting or someone to get a picture with, I love a selfie. I love to really document the stuff that we're doing, and I think if I can do that and one person thinks, wow, I'd love to do that too, then that's exactly what you should do, because we have such a great message to share with other people. And if you can, absolutely do. So, Evie! Ellie, this is for you. Freedom. Okay, what does this say? Does your organisation value professionals? Yeah, my organisation absolutely values professionals. We're quite blessed, we've got a lot of CIH fellows, but our organisation pays for any professional membership because they value that mark against an individual, that they have taken that commitment to progress down a path that helps not only them, but you know, every single one of our customers too. I've lost the questions. Any tips for people facing challenging organisations who don't value membership and qualification? Well, I think it's a difficult one. You need to think about what fits for you. So, if going to an organisation that values your CIH membership or a qualification is what fits you better than that particular organisation, it's time to make a change. If you can go that bit further yourself and move on to perhaps paying for your membership yourself, then that's maybe an option to consider. There is some great stuff coming about that. I'll say no more. But please give me a shout if we can help. Certainly if the Futures Group can help with anything, please give me a shout, because we would love to help you try and break down some barriers. Elevator pitched. Okay, what would your elevator pitch to encourage young people to choose a career in housing? Okay, right. Lift doors are closing. I wonder who's in the elevator too. Young people. I would say, if you want to do a job that helps you help people, help yourself, network, engage, grow, develop, do everything that you can do in any other career, but feel absolutely great about how much it helps other people, come and join us. This is the place to be. If you want to do good and have so many options about exactly what you can do and where you can go. Housing is a fantastic place to be. Callie, enjoy the hen do. Don't worry about it. So, there's a few more. What advice do you have for an old woman CEO on innovative interaction with younger colleagues? Oh my god, there's loads. There's absolutely loads of things to do. I think the whole thing about being a social CEO is kind of up there just now, but I don't know if that always fits everybody. Sometimes it feels a bit unnatural. But I think if you find something that fits you, that you can roll out across your organisation, there are millions of things that you can use to make things happen in a really informal environment, but in an environment that works for everybody, is mobile and is pretty cool. So things like Cheryl Tracy, she introduced us all to Slack. It's pretty cool. You can have sort of like roomed conversations. A lot of the functionality on Microsoft Office 365 will help you do a lot more of that. Really informal conversations. I mean, you're tweeting, so if it is you, I don't think you are old if it is you, but if you're tweeting, you're kind of halfway there, and that sort of functionality is coming across into business more and more, so you can use it just like you use things for fun. Okay, what else have we got? But, you know, the most important thing, if you want to engage with anybody, let alone old or young, be you, be honest, be open, be genuine, and be you, because that's the thing that's going to keep people in. Right, what do I love most about working in housing? The thing I love most about working in housing is that I absolutely cannot imagine doing anything else. I wake up in the morning and I think of all my friends who are going away doing other things, you know, working for the local authority, nurses, doctors, policemen, whatever, you know, and all sorts of other jobs. And I think, you know, I probably hand on heart the majority of the time I'm the only person in my group of friends certainly that could say I absolutely adore what I do. There is not a day that I go into work and I think I wish I wasn't here. I love what a difference we're making in Dumfries and Galloway. I love how progressive we're being. I love how we're using knowledge and values that we've learned from other people. I love how much we share, and to be honest, that's it. The bottom line is I can't imagine being anywhere else, and that's exactly why I love working here. So there's 8 minutes left. Okay. Oh, thing I'd like to change about housing. Oh, Neil Goodrich, that's a cracker. I think, like, the problem is, I live, excuse me, I live in Scotland, and Scotland, social housing is king. And we're really, really privileged in the position that we're in, that we don't have half the problems that you do in England. But equally, the way that I hear people talk about people who live in social housing, the way that sometimes I've heard contractors treat social housing properties, you're not a second class citizen if you live in social housing. Home is home, regardless of tenure. And the thing I would change is get rid of that. If I had a magic wand or one wish from a genie or anything, that would be it. Get rid of the stigma. Home is home, regardless of whatever tenure you live in. Is that okay? I hope that's okay. It's not a legislative or interesting answer, but it's certainly one that fits for me. So, what time are we on? There's another couple of minutes if there are any other questions. Oh, I'm loving this. Twitter's coming through too. There's so much going on. It's just like notification central. But if I suppose a couple of things, just in case there are anybody else thinking of some other questions, but a couple of things. If this is something that you would like to do, if you feel you have something to share, please get in touch. Twitter, Instagram, at CIH Futures. Drop us a message, tell us what you want to talk about and when would suit you. It'll be a Friday probably, but we have got some fantastic speakers lined up. John Barnes, as I said, will be next week, and then we've got some big head ladies coming up after that. Not that they've got big heads, that sounded wrong. Big chiefs. So there's another couple of questions. Do I believe Homes for Cathy will ever become an actual part of the past? I hope so. I think any situation, oh god, there's cars coming everywhere. Any situation I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, Gabby. I'm having a brain meltdown here. I'll move on to the next one and we'll come back. Why do you think people are not choosing a career in housing? I think money can be an issue sometimes. Some of the roles aren't paying what a like-for-like role is in the private sector. Sometimes advertising can be an issue and how we draw people in, but perhaps as well with things like the GEM programme, for example, in place, opportunities for people to come in first time are much, much more, but opportunities that are valuable that can aid, a step up are in quite short supply as well. But we are going to come to a point where so many people are retiring and coming out of the sector at the same time that something has to change. And I think for people who choose housing, they're rare, but people who find housing don't go anywhere else. This is the place to be, and it's very, very rare, unless it hasn't fit for you, that people come and leave again. So, I will absolutely join the Benefit to Society campaign. I'll be well into that. Yeah, let's have a chat about that another time. Thanks, John, for dropping in the CIH Futures Twitter link. But really, if you have something great to say and you want to share it, it is just 15 minutes, and it's a speaker engagement without the stress of having to jump up in front of a lot of people. You can do it from anywhere. That's the beauty of being mobile. But your story is valuable, and your story matters as much as anybody else's. So if you have got something to say and you're happy to say it, please come and do it, because we'd be more than happy to see you. But you must be a CIH member, so if you're not, you know what to do. Unicorns. Tom Potter, did you know that the unicorn is the national animal, not the anthem, the national animal of Scotland? There you go. There's a fun fact. Yes. I love you. Preach hands. I love it. So, if there's not... we've got 3 minutes. This is really chaotic. It's going to be a bit random for resharing when I've had all these little moments to myself. But there's no one to talk to. Well, there is, but there's not really. If we've got time for one more question, if anybody can think of anything, I'm sure. John CIH from only 43.50. I hope you're a member. I hope you are. And if you're not, again, you know what to do. But if you want to be different, if you want to aspire to, be the best you possibly can be, you're here. Good. You're here. I know you're here. It just feels a bit weird. People are driving out by me and walking out by me thinking I'm just having a little selfie session at myself. What's the next thing I want to do in housing? Well, I'm working on this project with some colleagues to transform the way that we deliver services, going completely digital, the revolution, if you like. I think for me, I have a really, really fierce loyalty to making sure I see that through, and I'm part of that until the very, very end. So my goal is that we get that done before I'm 30, which gives us just under 4 years. So to get that finished, to see that through to fruition, that's exactly what I want to do next in housing. Today, I've got a whole list of things to do, but the next thing I'll do in housing today will probably be charge this phone up, because it's about to die. Thanks, John. That's a really, really great question. They've all been great questions. Everybody's got lovely, lovely things to say and ask, and I just hope this has been helpful for everybody. The revolution. So if you're doing digital, if you're a frontline officer, if you are someone who works in the back room staff, who is doing something different or is really, really passionate about working in housing despite not being the traditional type housing staff, please get in touch, because as I say, you've got a story to tell and it's incredibly valuable, and we all want to hear it if you want to tell it. So it's 12:59. Thank you for staying with me. 15 minutes of questions, done. 15 minutes of story, done. You know where we are, at CIH Futures on Instagram and on Twitter. We'll see you there. Bye. How do we sign out? Sorry. Bye.